just a couple of minutes back, and we are expecting a few more. I'll request everyone to please keep your mobile phones on mute or silent so that we don't interrupt the program. I request Sanjeev sir to please be present here. We're just waiting for Mr. Sanjeev Zucchi, who will be giving the welcome address. So I am Smita Polite, your co-host for the evening. Welcome everyone again. It is my privilege today to be present here with our esteemed guests this evening for the preview of a revolutionary EdTech product. I now invite Mr. Sanjeev Zucchi, the Senior Vice President and Chief Operating Officer of Thomson Digital, to deliver the welcome address. Mr. Zucchi has extensive experience in the education domain and has led large teams across businesses in EdTech, higher education, and franchising during his stints with UPES, Millennium Schools, and the GD Goenka Group. Mr. Zucchi.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you so much for being here. It's such a pleasure to be able to welcome all of you. On behalf of Thomson Digital, I would like to extend my heartiest welcome to all of you for this preview event of the Q&I platform. We have been in touch with you, many of you, across the journey of this product in building Q&I, and we are grateful to you for having come here to join us today. The insights that you have provided have guided us in creating a unique offering that complements your teaching and is a paradigm shift in the competitive entrance space. We are grateful for your presence this evening, which marks the culmination of our efforts in building India's first and only learning platform that follows a unique assessment-led learning approach. We will be sharing this radically different approach with you through different sessions that we have planned for today, and we hope to take you through a very, very exciting product. The platform preview will showcase the power of Q&I and how it moves away from the earlier one-size-fits-all approach. We welcome you all and look forward to an exciting, insightful discussion with you today evening. To mark the beginning of Q&I's journey from concept to reality, it is my delightful pleasure to be able to introduce our Executive Director and CEO, gentleman sitting in the front row. Mr. Vinay Singh is our Executive Director and Chief Executive Officer and my esteemed boss at Thomson Digital. He is also on the board of group companies within India Today Group and the Thomson Press. He is responsible for providing strategic direction and overall growth to all the units of Thomson Digital within India, overseas, Mauritius, and the United States of America. Under his esteemed leadership, Thomson Digital has established itself as one of the most prominent solution providers in the international publishing world. His focus now is on providing transformative solutions in the domestic EdTech space utilizing Thomson Digital's rich legacy of educational content and technology. On this moment, I would like to request Mr. Vinay Singh, our esteemed Executive Director and CEO, to formally unveil the Q&I brand. Sir. Thank you so much, sir, for your direction and unveiling of the logo. We are much looking forward to taking this much further. Today marks a very significant milestone for us as we embark on a new journey with Q&I. To share the journey that has brought us to this stage, it is my privilege to be able to invite Mr. Aman Singh on the stage. Let me give a brief introduction of Mr. Aman Singh. Mr. Aman Singh, gentleman in the black, who's just walking towards us, is an advisor with us at Q&I and has provided tremendous insights and guidance in building our platform. He is an IIT Delhi and ISB alumnus and has worked extensively in the education sector, notably the EdTech space, and has set up new universities and colleges. He was the founding project director at Ashoka University and the founding program director at Young India Fellowship. He has also been involved in the setup of several universities, including CREA, Blackshaw, Atria, and the Indian School of Public Policy. Mr. Singh is also the founder of GradRight and Ed FinTech Company. On this note, it is my pleasure and privilege to invite Mr. Aman Singh to address all of you and to take you through the journey that has taken place over a period of time to build the Q&I platform. Mr. Aman Singh.
I'm also very grateful to Vinay sir and Mr. Ankur Puri, who could not join the evening, for live. Okay, we are recording this. That's a lot of pressure. I know, it's live on TV. I'm kidding, it's not on TV, I'm just kidding. So, no, I'll probably not go back to what I said. I'll continue going. I also want to thank Mr. Puri for really kind of thinking about this idea and conceptualizing this along with Sir. And I met Sir really a year and a half, now 2 years ago, and I'll probably tell you a little bit about that. But today, in the next 20 minutes or so, I have a small agenda for you. It will start off with sharing a little bit about my own journey and how and what motivates me to be a part of this particular initiative. I'll also share with you a little bit about my views on EdTech. They'll not be very comforting to people who like EdTech, but I'll surely share some of those thoughts here. And I'll leave at a point where Akash, who's really the who's really putting the heart of the product together to share more on, on how he's designing the product and taking it forward. It is also, I just want to acknowledge something here, that when I was launching Ashoka University, sir, the first open house of this kind, there were very senior founders all waiting for parents to turn up. 5 founders, some of us in the projects team. We actually had 2 parents come. This is how we started Ashoka University. And just to see that all of you have come today already tells me that you're on your way. For a first meeting and for a first event of a particular initiative like this one, to have so many of you come is already mark of a success. So congratulations to all of you for going on a very good start. In the last, I would say 22 years that I have been working after my college, my singular purpose has been to do things that are meaningful and purposeful for students, parents, and schools. I had started my career with a multinational, but after 3 years, I probably just did not find enough meaning in it. And I said, I want to be in education, so all these last 19 years have been in the education sector. And I've been very fortunate to launch initiatives that have worked out really well for students and parents. Ashoka is just one example. There are other institutions that are also creating a new way of thinking in the sector. And I find myself at a very interesting position right now, as we are trying to make a difference to what is broadly known as an EdTech sector. And if my track record has anything to do with it, I think this is hopefully going to be as successful as some of these universities I have helped. But let's see how it plays out. But in all these initiatives, there was one common thing. And the common thing was students and parents really believing in it and coming together to build it. A lot of times we take a lot of credit for having built a company, having built a university. I think none of this happens without parents and students coming together, without teachers believing in you, without principals believing in you. So all our success so far really has been an outcome of that. If Akash is building a great product today, it's because students like you, teachers like you are supporting him in figuring out what will really work. Because this is being designed for the student. This is being designed to solve something very significant. It's not being done as a smart idea that some VC will give you $5 billion and you'll become a billionaire. This is not one of those ideas. This is a serious problem that we all are witness to. We all understand about this problem, but we haven't done anything about this problem. So let me set the context here and take you back to my own experience in this sector. It started in 2003 really, when EdTech was not a word. Internet was still on dial-up. I don't know, आप लोग dial-up जानते हैं क्या होता है? वो टेलीफोन लाइन में केबल जोड़ के फिर कर करता था तो फिर इंटरनेट चलता था. And computer labs में 2 कंप्यूटर होते थे और वो एक कोना होता था स्कूल का. So it's from that time when really we did not know of technology in schools. And since then, I have seen a lot of changes happen in this sector, and I'll talk a little bit more about that in some time. But I feel, that there's something missing in this sector. There's some of the big problems that have not been solved yet. There's a lot of hangama around this sector about how big unicorns and decacorns and all these big venture-backed companies have come up. But I don't think we have really solved something very significant in this sector. And I have a feeling that this seemingly small start is really the start of a very big idea. And I'm going to tell you why I feel so in some time. In 2000, I think two years ago really, somehow by some good friends, connected me to Sir, and he said, I'm thinking of something like this. What do you think? You're from the sector, so what are your thoughts on building something like this? So I told him that in 2005, I was trying to build something like this. Almost very similar to something like this, but I just gave up because I didn't have the resources to build it. And then when I realized that India Today Group is backing this venture, Thomson Digital is backing this venture, I said, if my idea has to see the light of day, maybe it is because of Sir and the India Today Group that can potentially make this happen. And that's how I got involved. And for the last 2 years, I've been really at it to the best of my capabilities, helping the design and development of this idea. And I cannot thank Sir and Mr. Puri enough for that opportunity. But let me kind of get into this second part, which is to tell you why I think I'm a part of this venture. And for that, I want to take you through my journey in 1996 when I was preparing for IIT-JEE. I went to a school in Delhi, which is unfortunately also known as Factory. I went to DPS RK Puram. No offense to those of you who are from that school, but there it had a great reputation that time. I don't know about it today. But like I said, if the principal of the school walked in, you had to clear the space, 200 feet away. But the school was known for a very strong, it had a strong reputation for bringing together some of the, let's say, very competitive students in one place. I don't think, and I'm being very honest and straight about things, I don't think RK Puram had the best teachers, no offense. But I think it had some of the best students, all in one place. By my time, which was in 1995, good teachers of RK Puram had left. My brother had studied under good teachers many years ago. So when I was there, I was just blown away by the quality of students who were around me. They looked like they're just waiting to take IIT-JEE. They were all ready all the time. मुझे लगा पैदा ही IIT के लिए हुए थे. And मुझे लगा तुम अभी दे सकते हो, हाँ मैं अभी भी दे सकता हूँ, लेकिन I'm not eligible, so I'll wait for 2 more years. But what I saw there was very interesting. I saw that the entire preparation in that year, at least in my year, the teachers, the coaching institutions had nothing to do with preparation. The teachers of the school focused our energies on doing well in boards, and that was very important. And all of us did our classes, did it well, did our exams, did it well. And the teachers understood there are guys here who are preparing for IIT-JEE and so on. Well, if they need some help, I can help them after classes. So they used to stay back and just tell us, do you have problems? I can help you. But nobody was actively teaching us. It was all really left to us. For those of you who don't know, there was a company called Brilliant Tutorials that time. Teachers ko pata hoga. And मैं आपको बता देना चाहता हूँ, you might get bored, but just give me 30 seconds. I have a daughter your age, so I'm wondering how much will you tolerate all this. So they sent you some packets and questions. You had to solve them honestly and send them by post. They would correct it and send it back to you. All this took one month. And you read the solutions and they say, oh, ye to galat ho gaya. Then again solve another set, send them, and that's how you prepared for 2 years. It is exactly how this preparation went. Now when you look at this, you could say, ye to kafi, kya kehte hain, prehistoric sa lag raha hai, But this is at the heart of what makes a great engineer. That's a big connection I'm making. It tells you that it is you who has to think about problems. You have to understand the concept, solve those problems. Where you have the gaps, somebody will send a solution to you. You analyze that solution. You're building your capability to think about problems and solve those problems on your own. That's what all of engineering is about. So in order to become a great engineer, my first recommendation to you is to take control of your preparation. That will make you a great engineer. I was delighted when 2 students here told me they're not going to a coaching class. I was like, does that still happen? Because I realized that all of us were essentially completely in control of what we were doing. We were analyzing ourselves, we were criticizing ourselves, we were talking to each other and asking, how did you solve this? Why couldn't I solve this? So all the learning was actually between students for IIT-JEE, because teachers were not focused on preparing you for IIT-JEE, at least during my times. And for me, Q&I is taking us back there. It's about flipping this model of IIT-JEE preparation, where you are, instead of being eternally dependent on coaching institutions, and nothing wrong with them, it works fine for a lot of people, or depending on other people for preparation, can you be in control of your own preparation? That's really at the heart of what we are doing here, and that is why I feel inspired that can I contribute to flipping this test preparation model from you being anxious, from you being, if I don't go to the top section of this coaching institution, I will not get into IIT JEE. Or if I don't have the best teachers from the school, I will not get into IIT JEE. If I'm not in Delhi, I don't have access to good teachers. Can we change all this and ensure that every student, no matter where they are, no matter which school they are going to, no matter which coaching institute they are going to, can they still achieve what they deserve to achieve? Because that's what used to happen. It was not about who was in a good school. It was not about who was going to a great coaching institution. I have heard that in coaching institutions also you have these, category A, B, C, right? You won't believe it, in RK Puram you had ability section and non-ability section. It was bizarre. Those who got 96% were in ability section. And those who got 95, they were in non-ability section. This was the nomenclature. Thankfully, if you chose economics, there was no ability and non-ability. So I chose economics, and I didn't have to face that, insult, because I only had 92%. So my point is, we want to see if there is a way to help everybody prepare and achieve the best they can achieve. And not because who has more resources and less resources. A lot of you might think if you get into IIT, I've heard there's a lot of pressure on you to get into IIT. No offense, you will get into IIT. Somehow, if you get into IIT, suddenly you're branded as this very intelligent guy, right? And if you don't get into IIT, you're considered like a not so top line. But think about it, you're the same guy, right? Whether you make it or don't make it. So there's so much stigma attached with this idea of, not getting into a top college, whether it is IIT or medical. And there's so much drama attached to, you getting into IIT, you must be this extraordinary guy. I can tell you it's just a matter of context and opportunity. I have in my own family enough and more cousins, definitely sharper than me, by far, but did not have the resources to go to RK Puram or go to a good place and get the support. And they didn't make it. So do not overvalue yourself if you get into IIT. And do not undervalue yourself because you don't get into IIT. What is important is to understand your value and not feel bad about your value. For me, this is an important shift. I can tell you the competition that was during my time, the competition is only 20 times bigger. हमारे समय 3 लाख लोग देते थे और 3000 सीट्स होती थी. अभी शायद 20 लाख लोग देते हैं और शायद 10,000 सीट्स हैं. And there is so much pressure on everybody. It is not fun anymore. Like, I can tell you when I was preparing, it was actually fun. We were not stressed about it. I mean, we were worried that we have to do this, but we were thinking, it's a challenge. Like, physics was just challenge. Like, I can give you an example. If there was a problem in Irodov, I don't know if you know that book. It is, you know the book? Yes, exactly. So, if there's a problem in Irodov, and it was a very hard problem, nobody could solve it, none of us looked at the solution. We said, solve हुआ नहीं हुआ. एक महीने बाद solve हुआ नहीं हुआ. We used to wait for months to wait for that problem to be solved. And we used to enjoy it. And once I solved it when I was in my summer holidays, I wrote a letter to 3 of my friends. I have solved it. And I gave them the solution that I have discovered this solution for this particular problem in mechanics. It was really the love of solving problems that I think I enjoyed. I think that love and fun has probably vanished. I have a feeling. I might be wrong. Maybe you still enjoy it. But I have a feeling that we need to bring that sense of challenge and fun and excitement in preparing for IIT JEE. And if you don't make it, it's fine. Matlab, look around you. All the successful entrepreneurs, koi IIT nahi gaya. I'm just giving an example. And you should try and get into IIT. But there are enough and more successful careers that are not out of IITs, not out of the top colleges. It's who you are, how you build your career that will take you very far. But when you are in a football game, when you lose a game, you can feel disappointed, but you don't feel, like your world has been destroyed. You should take IIT like that. You should enjoy the preparation. You should take your medical exam like, I'm going to crack it, but it's just a challenge. So I feel there's an opportunity to bring the fun and challenge into this whole journey. Big expectations, right? But that's the goal from this platform. I would not be here if it was one more edtech. पिछले 15 साल में तो मैं किसी edtech को मुड़ के I didn't even try to find out वो क्या कर रहे हैं. And I'll tell you why, and I'll take you to that next phase when I'll probably spend just about 2 minutes, and I know I'm pressed for time, and I'm sure somebody will pop up in 2 minutes and tell me to stop. But I see edtech in 2 big phases. And that's my view, and you can discount my views. The first was when teaching and learning that was happening in classrooms and in coaching classes went online. वही धंधा, लेकिन online. आप समझ रहे हैं मैं क्या बोल रहा हूं? वही teaching online. फायदा क्या हुआ? कि जहां पे छोटे छोटे शहर में, छोटे छोटे स्कूल्स में, जहां उनके पास अच्छे टीचर्स नहीं थे, उनको सडनली अच्छे टीचर्स मिलने लगे. तो बहुत एक्साइटिंग था. It scaled up very rapidly, but then you got stuck at the same point. The same reason why, ma'am, you would struggle in developing the school is basically the quality of teachers. And how do you develop them? How do you strengthen them? How do you enable them? Eventually, that is the difference between a great school and a not so great school. So all these edtech firms eventually hit the wall, and they were scrambling for making teachers out of anybody and everybody. And they're willing to sell it, the package, the annual package, some quarterly package to all these smart IIT, IM guys, no offense. But, all of them were conceptualizing these new marketing pricing mechanisms. They scaled up very well till a certain point, and then the quality dropped. Because at the end of the day, it was all teaching. The model hadn't changed. The mechanics had changed. It was still teaching, learning, teaching, learning. I feel unless the model changes, there's no hope. You cannot scale up without losing quality. If you're in the business of counseling, you're in the business of teaching, and you want to scale up, it just doesn't work. So when RK Puram was 5,000 kids, fine. When it went to 10,000 kids, not fine. When it went to 20, gone. No offense. The same for most institutions. They don't realize that there's nothing inherently powerful about the teaching, learning, in that change of mechanics from offline to offline to online. What has to be done is to be reimagine the learning experience, and the first fundamental there is really, first is to stop thinking that it's about teachers delivering this. Can the students be empowered to learn on their own, like you are trying to do, right? And why not? Imagine that if there is a mechanism by using tech, and Akash will tell you more about it, if I can flip the learning experience and make it by the students, for the students, while teachers are just supporting very effectively. I have sat in classes, and RK Puram is a place where you probably sat in many such classes where everybody in the class just knew everything that was being taught. They were just sitting there because attendance had to be marked. But they were all these students, the smartest of the lot, they always had a problem area, right? Maybe just modern physics, maybe optics, maybe organic chemistry. All they needed was a good organic chemistry class. They did not need the whole course when you're preparing for IIT-JEE. But guess what? All of you have to go through the same set of courses, the same lectures, the same exams, irrespective of whether you need support in that or not. Why are we really wasting this time? I never needed any support in, let's say, in mechanics. I needed a lot of support in optics and modern physics. I didn't know where to go. I just imagined that, देखो, mechanics ठीक है, सवाल आएगा तो बना देंगे. Optics में आया सवाल तो छोड़ देंगे. अगर optics के ज़्यादा सवाल आ गए, mechanics से कम आया तो IIT गया. I'm telling you, I just got lucky. I took the wildest risk. I was not good in organic chemistry. I was not good in probability. I was not good in permutations. I said, listen, organic chemistry तो थोड़ी समझ में आती है, इसी को पढ़ लेते हैं. Thankfully मेरे एग्जाम में 40 नंबर का ऑर्गेनिक केमिस्ट्री आ गया एंड मैंने उसके 39 मार्क्स के सही लगा दिए, तो हो गया, केमिस्ट्री क्लियर हो गया. बट इमेजिन करो 15 नंबर का ऑर्गेनिक आया होता, मैं तो वाइप आउट हो जाता. सो everybody is taking these big risks in their preparation journey. Sometimes it falls in their favor, sometimes it does not. Till date, I don't know why I'm not good in probability. All I think is I must be really dumb because my daughter gets it, I don't get it. So you make these wild conclusions that if you're not good in this, there is something absolutely true about it. You cannot get to understanding why are you not good at it. If you're not good in probability, why? What is working beneath that makes you not so good in probability? Now, nobody gives you this insight. All you are supposed to do, maximize your strength, forget your weaknesses, or some funda like that. You know, risky funda, very risky funda. What is important is you have to get to understanding why you are not good at something. If you are good at something, you ought to know how good are you. Are you really top 10 percentile? Are you top 2 percentile? Because you might think you're good in chemistry, organic chemistry, but maybe 5,000 guys are better than you in organic chemistry. How do you know that? I walked into that exam thinking I'm good in organic chemistry, I will max it. But if the whole country maxed it, so not knowing how good you are relative to others is a risky idea. Not knowing why you are not good at something and going ahead and thinking I'll solve 100 problems in permutations and I'll be fine, it's not going to help you. Technology is probably the solution. Technology can offer those insights to you that will help you understand in detail what really is going on. So that when your support comes from your teachers, it comes exactly where it is needed. Not more, not less. And you cannot do all this if you are putting everybody on one treadmill, one curriculum, week on week. आज optics, कल modern physics, उसके बाद वो. अच्छा optics नहीं समझ में आया, भूल जाओ, modern physics पढ़ लो. Modern physics समझ में नहीं आया, भूल जाओ, mechanics पढ़ लो. And you go through 2 years, you pay 3 lakh rupees to coaching institutions. I don't think it's required. You can just catch ma'am or sir after class and say, I'm struggling with this little piece, can you help me for 10 minutes? That's all, you're done. But you ought to know what you are struggling with. You can't go and tell ma'am, I'm struggling with probability. She'll say, मैं क्या करूं? थोड़ा specifically बताओ कि मुझे इस type के problems नहीं बन रहे हैं. क्यों नहीं बन रहे हैं? इस type का बन रहा है. And that is where tech can tell you. That is what Akash and the content and the engine can tell you so that you can seek customized support. Even if you have to go to a coaching class, even if you have to go to a teacher and a test preparation center, you will go there for a specific requirement. You will not go there and say that पूरा दिन भर आपने स्कूल किया, कितने 2 बजे या 3 बजे तक, उसके बाद 3 बजे से दूसरा स्कूल शुरू हो गया. Think about it. The whole country is doing this, right? I really think you should not do it. You should go to that center, if possible, only for that what you need. And then pay only for that what you need. Why are you paying for things that you know? I'm just raising questions. Don't hate me for this. Right? I'm just telling you that this is what most people are doing and there's no need to do it. My own cousin, sister's son, class 9 से वो कोटा चला गया. My cousin is a school teacher. She makes around 25,000 rupees per month in a very small town. किसी तरह से कोटा 4 साल. He was in some tier 2 batch in Kota. Took 3 attempts at IIT. Guess what? Couldn't make it. Came back to the hometown and said, now I'm preparing for UPSC. He didn't go to a good college. College भी चला गया. IIT भी नहीं हुआ. अब वो UPSC करेगा. Imagine what is going to happen to this child. And this is one child. It is not the story of just one child. It is a story of 80% of students who are preparing for IIT. And nobody cares. वो पेपर पे किसका नाम छपता है? JE1, JE2, JE5, JE10. But इतने लोगों का तो नहीं हुआ. और हर साल नहीं हुआ. अगर इस बच्चे को पहले बता दिया गया होता कि देखो ये नहीं होगा, तुम 3 बार दोगे तो भी नहीं होगा. If you're in the bottom 10 percentile, it's time to focus on your exams, get 99% or 95%, go to a half decent college, graduate in time and build a career for yourself. IIT से भी 30% लोगों का जॉब नहीं लगता है, just for your information. So point is, आप लोग होशियार हैं, head boys, head girls बहुत सारे यहाँ पे आए हुए हैं, आप लोग सबका हो जाएगा IIT. लेकिन ये प्लेटफॉर्म जो है सिर्फ तेज बच्चों के लिए नहीं है. तेज बच्चों के लिए है, अगर आप 100 पे हैं तो टॉप पे कैसे जाएं. लेकिन अगर आप 10,000 पे हैं तो 5,000 पे कैसे आए. लेकिन अगर आप 5 lakhs पे हैं, maybe you have to think about what you should expect from your life. And there's nothing wrong with, pausing the preparation at the right time. So this platform for me is a hope for all those students who are sometimes misguided, sometimes under pressure, they're constantly preparing. It's also hope for students to know exactly where they are and feel confident. Are you JE1? Well, come on the platform, you will know whether you're JE1 possibility or not. If you are JE100, you will know on this platform gradually. So my point is, sorry if I have taken more time than planned, but these are very personal things. I have been in this space for 18 years now. So I'm here to try and see if we can solve this as we scale. I also feel that अक्सर क्या होता है, टेक्नोलॉजी जब किसी चीज में आती है तो इट इज एक्सपेक्टेड कि दाम कमेगा, क्वालिटी बढ़ेगी, क्वालिटी कंसिस्टेंट होगी. पर आप देखें एडटेक में जिस तरह से इन्वेस्टमेंट हुआ है, जैसे जैसे स्केल अप किया है, क्वालिटी गिरी है, डिसअपॉइंटमेंट्स बढ़ा है. It raises a question that is it really enough tech? Because अगर टेक होता तो कॉस्ट तो कमना चाहिए था, क्वालिटी बढ़नी चाहिए थी. मेरा प्रपोजल है, ये मेरा पर्सनल व्यू है, दिस इज नॉट थॉमसन डिजिटल्स व्यू, ये मेरा व्यू है. देयर इज नो टेक इन एडटेक राइट नाउ. ये वही पुराना फर्मा है, बस कंप्यूटर आ गया बीच में. दैट्स माय व्यू. Again, we can have a discussion on dinner if you don't agree with me. But my point is, we have to build something that is really tech-centric. This platform, as Akash will take you through the details, is designed for deep tech, is designed for machine learning, is designed for artificial intelligence. And machine learning, and those of you who are from computer science background, machine learning, AI can only work when there are more and more users on the platform. As users start using it, the platform becomes more and more and more intelligent. Like आप Amazon पे जाते हैं, जितनी बार आप यूज करते हैं उतने अच्छी उसके recommendations होने लगते हैं. You agree? That's tech. That's real tech. I'm just giving an example. ऐसा नहीं है कि जब आप चौथी बार आए तो आप बोले क्या इसमें आ रहा है. As Amazon scaled up from 1,000 users to 20, 100 million users, the quality just kept going up, 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 up. It's because when you use real tech data, you use intelligence, quality has to go up. So this platform in its current form is limited by what? It's limited by intelligence. And that intelligence comes as users start adopting it. So as you start using it, maybe after 5 years, you will see how powerful this platform will become. Because it's all user dependent. It's all question led, it's all assessment led, it's all student centric. Teachers इसमें actual facilitators का role play करेंगे. इससे जो analytics निकलेगा, उसमें classroom को आप improve कर सकते हैं. If you have 50 students, they could be on the platform, you could take those insights in real time and start seeing what to do with it. So I feel this is a start of probably an introduction of tech in EdTech. It's an attempt. Is it perfect? I am used to starting imperfect. जब अशोका स्टार्ट हो रहा था, जो पहले पेरेंट्स आए जब कैंपस में, तो उनको हेलमेट पहनना पड़ा क्योंकि बिल्डिंग बनी रही थी और कुछ भी गिर सकता था सर पे. एक मॉडल था टेबल पे, बताया जाता था कि ये मॉडल है, वो वहां वो बिल्डिंग बनेगी, वहां पर वो बिल्डिंग बनेगी. But eventually it all comes through. When you have credible people backing a project like this, it all comes through. But be patient as you experience imperfections. But remember that it's part of a journey of building something very powerful for everyone in the country. And it's not just for the top 5 percentile or the top 10 percentile, it's for everyone. And it will get intelligent as more people use it. I really believe that this platform is going to fulfill its promise for one big reason. And that's because, I have been building this company for the last 3-4 years, where I built it with our own little earnings from the company. And we have a very strong culture. We have 100 people. We work in the space of education financing. And we have always been very about venture capital coming into the company. Those of you who don't know, venture capital मतलब investor आएंगे, उनको 2 साल में return चाहिए, उनको बाहर निकलना है, क्योंकि उनको 2000% का return चाहिए 2 साल में. Just broadly, I'm telling you. This venture is not, this initiative is not planned like that. This is backed by a very solid group, which means there's no pressure to suddenly, make 2 years में return and exit. This is being planned very carefully. कोई रश नहीं है इसको प्लान करने में, धीरे धीरे करके प्रोडक्ट को बनाया गया है, रिफाइन किया गया है, बहुत अच्छे से टीम को बनाया गया है. So you will experience a very different journey and student-centric experience in this, which means you will not feel the pressure, or the, जो एक होता है जो कि typical venture-backed funds companies में होता है. So I have a feeling that as you move this project forward, together as parents, students, teachers, you'll probably see that you're part of this journey of building this product. Because you want to take your feedback to Akash and team. You want to take your feedback to Nandan, is that? The tech team, whenever you get a chance to meet the team, feel free to reach out. Feel free to contribute to this platform in a way that it becomes very intelligent for everyone. Let me pause on that. I feel that you've given me a lot of attention right now, and I'm very grateful for that. I want to end by thanking all of you. I'm sure I have overshot on the time, Smita, but I hope it is not a waste of time for everybody. And I feel that this is like all the other initiatives I have been a part of. This is really about people coming together. I think Ashoka today would not have been Ashoka if parents, professors, founders were not on the same side. From the day one, we have been talking to students, talking to teachers. Akash has been a teacher. So, this whole platform or any such initiative only becomes as successful as the parents and students want it and teachers want it. There's no university that has succeeded without parents and teachers backing that university. And I'll request you all to think about this as your initiative. Feel free to send strong critical feedback. Take Akash's number. Call him, tell him you can do this, you can do this, you can do this. And the whole idea is we'll continue to improve it with your inputs, and hopefully we'll make a great product as we move forward. I'll pause on this. Have a great evening, and thank you once again, sir. This was the hard part, holding a mic. Oh, Akash, itna to introduce kar diye. Ek second. Okay. So Akash is he's like my younger brother. I feel like he's on the same mission that we started with Sir 1.5 years, 2 years ago. Akash was teaching at a very well-known coaching institution in Kota and Delhi and so on. And I called him with 50-50 mind that he bolega, kya aap log kar rahe hain? Matlab, I'm in this like top celebrity teacher in Kota, fan following of thousands of students. And he just took 5 minutes and he said, main samajh gaya. And he left his job. And I can't tell you how big a decision that was. He said, this is exactly what we need to do with test prep. And it was a big risk for him to leave a super high, not that he's paid badly here, but he was paid very well. He's paid equally well or more here. But more than that, for him to change working at a top-notch, super high-flying kind of teacher out there to move to a fledgling early-stage company and build a product from scratch was a big deal. The moment he came in, I said, ho gaya solve. Because if a guy like that understands it, and immediately his whole team and his network from all these teachers, from chemistry, physics, maths, everybody started converging around Akash. So Akash is not alone. He's backed by a super powerful team that is not here today, and he'll tell you more about that. And I think you probably know him by now. He's from IIT Kanpur, 2010? 2010. So all I know is he's a passionate teacher. His students have, last year or this year, I think, Some of his students were JEE top 10. So all of you who want to be JEE top 10, maybe he's your guy. So I feel like you can't have a better person driving this core of the engine than Akash. I don't know of a better team that can do this in this country right now than Akash. And he has reached out to all these big content heads of edtech companies, and all of them have literally told him, well, you've got the idea, and they have wished him luck to scale up this idea to begin with across India and hopefully to the world very soon. Over to you, Akash. Have I done my job, Smita? Okay.
Thank you, Amanji. I hope I'm audible. So, my name is Akash, as Amanji has already introduced me. I graduated from IIT Kanpur in 2010. So, yes, when we first discussed this idea, actually this was something that I believe that is the need of the hour. For the past 12 years, I have been teaching students, and coaching them for clearing these competitive examinations like JEE Mains and JEE Advanced, and ultimately, taking to their dreams of, getting into the top IITs. So there are three important aspects, in fact, for a student's journey for these competitive examinations, or three important stakeholders, rather, I would say. One, student themselves. Second one being the teachers, and third being the parents. So these are the three important pillars that the student basically should have, and they are the main stakeholders who are basically contributing in a student's success. So I myself have prepared for these competitive examinations. In fact, I gave only one examination in my life. That was JEE. At that time, it was JEE. It was not advanced. So I gave only one competitive examination. So I bring along with me the experience of being a student. And for the past 12 years, I have been teaching students to qualify these examinations. So I also bring along with me the second stakeholder, that is being a teacher. Now the third one, I am not there yet. So because my daughter is just 4.5 years old, so might be in 10 or 12 years of time, I'll also add the third stakeholders aspect also. So I'll be talking in respect of all these, stakeholders. But to stress upon it more, I'll be talking on behalf of the students, because they have been, or I have been more closely related with them, and I have seen, the journey of students, right from day one when they come and get themselves enrolled in the institute and then start preparing, to the time when they actually qualify these examinations. So I have seen all the ups and downs that these students go. And believe me, when I say this, there is a lot of pressure. And you being students would agree to it, right? There are two important figures that I just want to quote. One figure that is very prominently, out there and expressed very loudly is the number of students who are appearing for these examinations. That is around 20 lakh students are appearing for these examinations. And only 10,000 do get the opportunity to get admitted in, the IITs. So if you see this figure, this is very, challenging. And you will feel yourself under a lot of stress. Because you might see that, okay, I'm in a class of, maybe 100 students right now. You might be preparing for these, in any coaching institute, even in your school. And you, in fact, this was something that I was sharing with, few of the students, that you see that in a class of 100 students, 10 students or 5 students are ahead of me. Now, when I extrapolate this figure up to a 20 lakh, so I do not stand a chance to come under the 10,000 rank. And probably that will affect your mental status, your confidence, that whether I will be able to make it to these examinations or not. Now, this is one aspect, and which is quite disturbing. The second aspect, if you see, this year's JEE Advanced cutoff was only 18%. Can you imagine this? Only 18%. The student who scored around 18% of marks was qualified enough to get admitted into the IIT. Now imagine if you isolate this figure from the previous one which you saw, and now if you try to introspect and see that is it so difficult that I won't be able to get 18% of marks after preparing for 2 or 3 years? It is not something that is unachievable, right? Why I am, stating these numbers and these figures is you have to choose that which is the one that you're targeting. If you're targeting the previous figure, that out of 20 lakh students who are appearing for these examinations, I have to be in the 10,000. Or you could choose that it's just 18% marks, man. Right? It is much easier. So you have to make up your mind that which target are you chasing. So this clears a lot of stress and a lot of clutter in your mind, right? Because now it is far more achievable if you see the 18% figure than if you see 10,000 out of 20 lakhs. So all you need to do is have a correct perspective towards these competitive examinations. Now, how do we, and there is one more important aspect being a student is, there is always an uncertainty when we prepare for these examinations. We don't know that whether our preparation is going in the right direction, whether the effort that I have made today, has it, contributed positively in my chances of getting selected into the IIT? Is it going into the right direction? So that uncertainty is something that is always a challenge. Now, what if there was a platform or someone that could actually tell you that whatever the effort that you have put yesterday has actually contributed towards, your chances of getting selected into the IITs. So that will give you confidence, because see, it's not only the number of hours and the effort that you are going to put in every day. It's also that the efforts that you are putting in should actually contribute to the confidence that yes, I am doing the right thing and I am getting closer to the, the goal that I have just selected for myself. So, effectively, you want someone to basically let you, as Amanji rightly said, that we do face challenges in our preparation journey, right? I have been a teacher of mathematics, so I'll take context of mathematics. As Amanji was saying that, let's talk about probability. If you go and, ask help from your teachers that I'm not able to understand probability, so no one is going to help you that way, right? But you go and specifically tell them that I'm not able to differentiate the events which are to be classified while solving a probability question. Or, you go and specifically highlight them that this is the particular concept which is making me, not solve the questions of probability. Let's take a simpler, chapter, which we have, everyone must have read, quadratic equations, let's say. Because at some point of time, we have solved a lot of quadratic equation, no matter which, stream we are from. So now if you go and ask your faculty that, sir, I'm very weak in quadratic equation. So the faculty will say, so I cannot teach you the entire quadratic equation once again, but imagine it, that if you could really isolate that it is not the entire quadratic equation I am not good at. Rather, I only need to understand the nature of roots part. If I could really understand the nature of roots part, I'll be able to solve each and every question of quadratic equation. Now, your entire universe of quadratic equation has now converged to a single concept of nature of roots. And if you go and ask someone, and if you ask your teachers that, please explain me the nature of roots part, that is a very easy part for a teacher to explain to you, because that only takes around 5 minutes of his time, and not the entire 3 hours or 4 hours of duration to let you run through the entire quadratic equation chapter. So that is important. That sort of insight, if you could gain, that is going to change the entire aspect. And that is where the technology, as Amanji was saying, is going to help you with. It will totally isolate the exact problem areas that you are facing. Now, there was also example of physics. For example, let us say you are not able to solve questions of rotational mechanics. Now, if you go and tell anyone or any of your teachers that, sir, I am not able to solve questions of rotational mechanics, so you will be said that go practice more questions of rotational mechanics. But what if that it was not the concepts of rotational mechanics that was the problem? It was because you are not able to solve the questions of integration that was basically involved in solving questions of rotational mechanics. So it is not the rotational mechanics that is a problem, it is the integration part that you are weak in, that is a section of mathematics. So rather than focusing on studying more and more physics, you should rather go and clear the concepts of integration. And when you come back to solving questions of physics, you will be much more equipped, much more confident. So that sort of insights is what I am saying. Amanji was also saying about one point that, see, whenever we choose any of our coaching centers where we are going to enroll ourselves and where we are going to prepare for these examinations, there are two aspects that we usually look for. One is which one has produced the best of the ranks, right? The top 10, top 100 किससे ज़्यादा आया है, और दूसरा एस्पेक्ट हम लोग देखते हैं किसमें ज़्यादा बच्चे पढ़ रहे हैं, right? So that basically builds the credibility. हाँ भाई वहाँ पे 2 लाख बच्चे पढ़ रहे हैं, so obviously it should be good, and that is why many of us prefer to select that particular institute. Now imagine, suppose in an institute there are already 2 lakh students appearing or preparing for these examinations. Now you being the 2 lakh 1th student getting admitted in that coaching institute, are you getting any benefit of the previously studying 2 lakh students who are already preparing for? No, you are not. Are you contributing anything for the 2 lakh students who are already preparing for this for the examination? No. So that is where the technology is going to be important, and that is where our platform is going to be different. Because the more and more the number of students who will start using, so every different child who is going to be on the platform is going to derive the benefits of all the previous ones who were working, because the intelligence is going to be increasing with each and every student who is going to be on the platform. And as Amanji also gave you example of Amazon and Google and YouTube are there, right? So more and more number of users, when they start using these platforms, the recommendations, the precise recommendations, they start improving, right? On Google, imagine, I don't know that, but obviously you guys have not, might not have used Google 5 or 6 years back, but we used to. And when we used to go for the Google search, the search engines were not that accurate as they are now. All you need to do is you need to write the correct words, and you'll get the exact thing that you are searching for. So precise these recommendations have become, and that is because of more and more users using it, and that is contributing to the intelligence of the platform, and that is what we have built, and that is where the tech comes in, EdTech, and that is the power of the engine that we have been building. Now, as I said, that I have also gone through, preparing for this examination, and imagine, and let me tell you my part of it. I would have given anything to have a platform like this. Because when I started preparing for this examination in my town, in my city, there was nothing that could help me in prepare, for this examination, because I belong to a very small place called Sasaram in Bihar. And वहाँ पे तो मतलब the board that I was enrolled into, वहाँ तो छठे से हमें ABCD पढ़ाई जाती थी, तो 6th class से तो English शुरू होती थी state boards में. So imagine, there was no such, कोई ऐसा कोई system नहीं था जहाँ पे जाके अपन prepare कर सकें. So when we started, conceptualizing and designing and thinking about this product, I thought about myself when I was at that age. We are basically designing this platform for that remote child who is not having any sort of access, any sort of help available for them to, appear for or, prepare for these examinations. We also thought of that child, and we are preparing for, and we have made the platform to enable that kid in a remotest of area, because now internet is readily accessible for everyone, and especially on mobiles. So we are thinking of that child also, who earlier did not have that opportunity to prepare for these examinations, and now can be empowered enough with the platform that we have built, can prepare on his own. And rightly said, see, the learning part, if you'll all agree, it is not by attending lectures, right? It is after the lecture, what exactly are you doing, right? When you start practicing, when you start putting on your efforts, is where the learning starts, and it does not, actually, starts in the lecture itself. The learning actually starts when you start putting in efforts. Now, frankly speaking, I have no, reservations in saying that. See, I have, mentored. I never said that I produced those ranks, because obviously those kids which I taught were already brilliant. Few of my kids have, scored rank 3, rank 4, rank 8, rank 11, and so on. And I have been fortunate enough to be, associated with those kids. But if I say that, what is my contribution in them getting these, extraordinary ranks? My contribution, if I say, and I have no reservations in saying that, is not going to be more than 20%, because 80%, more than 80% of the efforts the kids put in themselves. It was not me. In fact, in spite of me, in fact, instead of me, if it was any teacher, those kids might have studied with, they would have gotten the same rank. It was not me. I only contributed around 20% of their success. But the 80% was the efforts that they had put in. Now, the problem today is, since we know that the majority of the efforts the student has to put in himself, there is no tool or no method for them to actually track that the majority part of the effort that they have to put in are in the right direction and are towards the right approach where they could actually get into these colleges. And that is what our main problem statement that we are trying to solve. We are trying to give you the tools where you will be able to monitor the majority part of the effort that you have to put in, you being students have to put in, and see that whether they are in the correct, in the right direction and towards your success, right? So, as I said, when I was preparing, I would have given anything to have a platform like this, and I have put in all the experience that I have had and my team. In fact, my team has a lot of, many of the members of my team had been, in fact, all the members of my team had been academicians themselves. They themselves have qualified IIT and, graduated from very good, medical colleges as well. So we have a team of very, esteemed faculties, because we understand that it is the content and it is the way you curate the content is going to change the way the students prepare. See, if I say that, let me tell you in this way that if you try to solve, let us say, 2 lakh questions in mathematics itself, you cannot be sure that out of the 2 lakh questions that you have solved is the question that you are going to get in the JEE examination, right? You cannot prepare yourself for questions. It is the concepts that you are going to prepare yourself for. And those concepts are going to take you closer to your journey of, getting into the dream colleges that you are. You cannot prepare for questions. You only prepare for concepts. And if you have your concepts strong, then you'll be able to solve any question, right? So just taking this journey forward, I'll invite my colleague Nisha to quickly take you through a brief presentation of the platform that we have made. Obviously, we'll be discussing in more detail after this session, and we can have a lot of Q&A sessions also if you want to know exactly anything about the product or any other questions that you have. So I'll invite Nisha. She is, heading our sales team from West, and she has had a lot of around 22 years of experience in 12 years. Sorry, my apologies. 12 years of experience in in the edtech industry and selling edtech products, right? So I'll hand it to Nisha, and she will take you through a brief presentation.
Thank you. Thank you, Akash. All right. So good evening, everyone. Good evening, educators. Good evening, parents. And good evening, my dear students. So before I start off with introducing the platform to you, I want to wish all my students a very happy Children's Day. A happy Children's Day to all of you students. So yes, as Akash said, I am Nisha Gupta. I'm a part of the Q&I family. And today I have been entrusted with a very, very momentous task of introducing Q&I to your esteemed gathering over here. And I haven't prayed so hard as I prayed today that I should be able to do justice to what a marvel Q&I is. So wish me all the best, educators, parents, and students. So, all right, thank you. So moving ahead, so we'll start off by having a look at how the competitive landscape looks like. In fact, we educators, we have started addressing it as the hyper-competitive space right now. Am I right, educators? And we believe that we are putting our students into academic pressure cookers so that they are able to be successful in these competitive examinations, right? All right. So over here, if you're looking at the screen, all of you, I have quoted certain stats which will actually highlight how stressful and how tough this competitive landscape is today. As you can see, which is evident from the stats, that as against 1.7 lakh seats offered by NEET, there are 18 lakhs of students who are aspiring to write it and be successful at it. Similar is the story for JEE, wherein there are 50,000 odd seats offered, and we have 12 lakhs of students competing for it. Huge, right, the competition? So ultimately what happens? It translates into huge amounts of stress, anxiety, pressure, not only amongst the students, but parents and we educators as well. Now for somebody who's standing on the periphery, and if they look at it, for them, there's a very clear dichotomy. Students who make it and students who don't make it. But is it that simple? No, right? We need to scratch the surface. And when we at Q&I we did that, we actually realized that of the students who are able to be successful in these examinations, only the top 5 percentile of students, they are happy. They are satisfied with the kind of colleges and the streams they got. The rest, they are not. And the rest of their lives, believe me or not, they're left with a feeling that they could have done much better and they could have gotten a better college or at least a better stream. And for students who are not able to make it, well, it's mostly because they were not able to get the right kind of guidance which would have enabled them to be successful in these examinations. So over here, to break the monotony of whatever I just said, I would like all of us to engage in a quick game, especially the students. So in the next slide, there will be lots of thoughts, emotions, words which will appear. And students, parents, and educators even, with a show of hands, just tell me that at any point of time during your preparation space, have any of you experienced even one of those emotions or not? So, are we ready? Get started? Yeah. Sorry. Thank you. A show of hands would do. Parents, would you like to participate? Right. So the story is here for all to see. I'm so sorry. I'm not very good with this actually. Okay, all right. So you know what, everyone over here, what is the most tragic part about this? That whatever thoughts or emotions have been listed over here, they all have a certain negative connotation to it. And you know, we actually have to give it a thought that if we are embarking on the most important journeys of our life, if we start off with a negative footing, is that right? No, right? It's not right. So, you know, before we propose a solution or we try to understand that what could be a solution for it, we need to understand as to what is it that is stemming these negative emotions and negative thoughts. And that is the reason why we at Q&I, we kind of did a root cause analysis to find what is it that is stemming these negative thoughts, these negative emotions when we are about to embark on the most important journeys of our lives. So moving ahead. So we were able to list out certain reasons from which these negative emotions were stemming. And I believe most of my students who are sitting over here, they would actually validate when I read out these reasons. So because most of the times we feel that we are not able to understand that what is my exact strength, what is my exact improvement areas, and even if I'm made aware of my improvement areas, what is the clear path so that I'm able to make improvement in my areas of improvement? That path is not made clear to me. Also, it's very difficult for you students to get personalized feedback. It's generic, or maybe it's said in a way that you're not able to actually focus on that particular thing in order to get improvement. Also, whatever efforts you as students are putting in every day, there is no metric for you to actually analyze whether whatever efforts you have put in, what is the outcome of that. Last but not the least, we as students, we don't know where my fellow exam takers are, how their preparation are, how their learning are when it compares to me. So there's a disparity in such kind of information, and ultimately which translates into all the negative emotions and thoughts which we listed in the previous slide. So now what we do, you know, this is something which is stemming from my personal belief and personal experience, being a JEE aspirant myself some 10 years back, or more than that, so that's another story, leave it. All right, so at any point of time, as student, wouldn't you have imagined that if there was someone who could help you understand your strength and weakness? What if there was someone who could actually tell you that, student, this is your current level of learning, and in order to reach here, this is the way you're supposed to go about it? What if there was someone who could offer you personalized feedback on your progress on a daily basis? What if there was someone who could tell you that, fine student, you made this much of effort today, this is the outcome for it. You improve on it and your outcome will be much better. Also, what if there was a mechanism which will tell you that today this is your ranking, this is your preparation level with respect to your other fellow exam takers? Wouldn't that be wonderful? Right? So today, I'm very glad to tell you that we have an answer. The answer is yes, there is someone who could actually do this and many, many other things for you as well. And the answer is Q&I. All right, so let's understand what Q&I and what is the meaning of it and what do we intend to do with Q&I. Akash and Aman sir already did a very good task of explaining this, but still I would like to reiterate a couple of things about Q&I. So the basic idea of Q&I is to bring out the individual in each and every student. At Q&I, we would like to understand the student first. What is it that resonates with you? What is your unique style of learning? And based upon that, we would like to chalk out a path which is unique to your learning requirements. So essentially, over Q&I, you will be able to learn at a pace in a way which is relevant to each and every child's unique learning abilities. So actually, Q&I basically denotes the I in you. So again, let me help you understand that why Q&I will be able to bring out the I in you. The first and foremost is that at Q&I, we respect that each one of you are unique to each other. You have your own unique strength, you have your own unique weaknesses, you have your own unique distinct styles of learning which is unique from each other. That is why our platform places you, the student, at the center of it. It's a student-centric platform which will adapt to the way of your learning, the way you want to prepare. It will be unique to each and every child. The second important thing about our platform is that we have followed a unique assessment-led learning model. Over here at Q&I, the fundamental belief is that assessments are the start of learning and not the end of it. Through assessments, we are able to gauge that what is the current level of learning of a child, what is the current level of preparation, and based upon that, the adaptive engine of the platform ensures that the children or the students are taken to a level gradually and in a very seamless manner. Last but not the least is the adaptive and intelligent platform. As I mentioned, the adaptive engine will ensure that no matter what is the level, current level of the child, he or she in a very gradual and a seamless manner will be taken to a level required to be successful in this examination. By intelligent platform, we basically mean that we have intelligent analytics to support the child at each and every point of his progress on the platform so that the child keeps moving in the forward and the right direction. So how we have amalgamated everything into one is through our unique learning cycle for success. So as you could see, again, in education, assessment and learning, they happen to be the two fundamental pillars. And the outcome of one has to feed into the other to make learning and assessments robust. So that is what we have tried to incorporate over here. Once the child is on the platform, we first do a diagnostic assessment to actually assess what are the exact areas of improvement for that particular child. That entire analysis is made available to the student. Student can have a look at it. They can go back to their classes, talk to their teachers, refer to their notes, talk to their friends, seniors, get the clarity on that concept, come back to a platform, practice more, and again they can test themselves. So basically it's a continuous process, and over a period of time, the outcome from one will feed into other to make the entire cycle more robust and more pertinent to the child's exact learning requirements. So maybe with regular practice, continuous practice on the platform will start mirroring the child. Essentially, it will become the child itself. Going ahead. So students like you, we have spoken to many other students across the country. And one of the major challenges which the students said they face is that they find it a little difficult to adapt when the questions are changing in their complexity levels. Usually they say, when we look at textbooks, we look at content, even when we look at digital content, usually the content is classified into 3 superficial categories of simple, medium, and difficult. And many a times, students find it difficult to scale up the ladder. They fall in between the difficulty levels. So we have tried to solve that fundamental problem through a super powerful adaptive engine. So over here, everyone, educators, parents, and students alike, what happens is that, as I said in the beginning also, when the students come onto our platform, we have something called the personalized, we have a diagnostic assessment which actually tests the child to assess his current level of learning and preparation. The unique thing about this diagnostic assessment is that not only the subject matter knowledge is tested, but we are also gauging that how the child is in terms of strategic preparation. So it's a competitive examination, and the idea is that you need to be better than your fellow exam takers. So strategic skills like, say, time management, speed, accuracy are as equally important as the subject matter knowledge. So these two things, the level of the child is gauged, and based upon that, the engine of the platform gets calibrated, which means the unique learning path for that child is designed by the platform. Now, whatever areas have been identified as improvement area for the child or the student will be able to take personalized practice sessions so that he or she is able to make improvements in that. Also, in order to make sure that our children do not fall in the gaps between the difficulty levels, we have used something called the multi-tagging of questions. So our questions on our platform, they have been tagged at multiple levels. So instead of following the 3 generic categories, we have multiple categories of questions. So this will ensure that when the child starts his or her transition from his or her current level to a level where he or she wants to be, that transition is gradient, that transition is seamless. This also ensures that whatever learning is being imbibed, that is being profound in the minds of our learners. Also, it has a long-staying effect. So that is about from the diagnostic perspective. The thing which makes our platform super effective is our analytics. So as you could see on the screen, when the diagnostic assessment happens and the platform adaptive engine is calibrated, the first level of calibration which is visible to all is in the form of the 4-quadrant matrix, which is there on the left side of the screen. So what we do is that we divide how the child performed in that particular assessment. We classify the topics either as a strength, as an opportunity, as a hurdle, or as a weakness. So now over here, now not only we are telling the students as to what are their exact strength areas, but we are also giving them information about potential strength areas which can be converted into a strength with little time and less effort. The students will also be able to see their subject performance. So one look at this particular report and they will be able to understand as to what is the subject wherein they need to focus more upon so that their overall performance in the final examination could be improved. Moving ahead. So now the chapter level performance report has been divided at the subject performance report has been divided at the chapter level as well. Again, at Q&I, we appreciate the importance of the core learning skills. Hence, when we are providing this particular report, children will be able to see their proficiency or their performance across the 4 learning skills of knowledge, comprehension, application, and evaluation for each and every chapter. If the students want to do a further drill down, the same report is available at the topic level as well. So now as a student, I know that which particular topic in a particular chapter is pulling my performance down. And by having a look at this report, I can make a very targeted and informed decision that this is the particular thing wherein I need to focus more upon so that my overall performance in the subject and in the examination can be improved. So moving ahead, please. So this was again from the diagnostic and the analytics perspective. Since, as mentioned before also, our platform is AI and ML driven, it also automatically provides the students with a curated list of tasks in the form of daily task and weekly task. So this daily task and weekly task will actually be focusing more on the areas of improvement or weak topics of the students in terms of subject matter as well as in terms of strategic skills. By regularly practicing on these daily tasks and weekly tasks, a student will be able to ensure that his or her performance is proceeding in the forward direction. Moving ahead. So again, our platform will not stop at only giving suggestion, feedback, and analytics. We have taken it a level higher. We have made our platform predictive. So over here, if you're looking at the screen, there is something called the MyQ today, which is a progressive score. It's a very dynamic score, and it is calculated by taking all the inputs the students are doing on the platform. So it essentially tells the student that what are the chances of the student's success if they were to take the examination today. So the idea is that the moment the students get started with regular practice on the platform, if the MyQ score is moving in the forward direction, in the upper direction, that means students are in the right direction for success in these examinations. Also students, we understand that there are roughly 400 to 450 odd topics in the entire syllabus of JEE and NEET. As students, it's very difficult to keep a manual tab on each and every topic. So that is why we have something called the progress planner, which will help the students in keeping a track as to how they are paced when it comes to completion of the syllabus. So through this progress track, they will be able to ensure that whether in terms of syllabus completion, how is their progress. So that was all about the technical details about the platform. As Aman sir said, the idea is that we want to make sure that we are able to create equity into this entire competitive preparation space. We want to make it affordable, we want to make it personalized, and at the same time, we also want to make it super effective. So irrespective of where a student come from, they should be having access to quality preparation methods, and that is one of the core philosophies behind the design of our product. So that's from my end. I will leave the floor open to you all for questions, feedback, any other thing.
So, any questions, any doubts anyone having? So I'll open the floor for any sort of discussion that, yes, please.
Yeah, hi, my name is Amit, and I first like to congratulate you on the launching of the product. Uh, just can you go to that quadrant slide? So like, yeah. So so here you will be able to like we will be able to have the strength, weakness, and all those things in the quadrant. Now, does this tool also give you the path or a systematic plan or some type of a timeline, like how that, like if a student is having a weakness in 10 different topics, so how you should proceed with the, like first he will do the 10th one and then second one, then third one, something like that.
Hello, hello, hello. All of the mics works. Yes, there are platform. One is obviously telling the students all their analytics, right?
Hello.
That what are the challenges, what are the weak areas, and what are the strength areas that they have. But it's like, going to a doctor and then doctor, orders a lot of diagnostic tests for you. Now, when you get the test and test results, what to do with it is a challenge, right? You cannot decipher it yourself, right? So we take into account the second aspect also. So that is where you might see in one of the slides, there is a My Task Center, right? So all the diagnostic and all the analytics that we gather from the students, we identify where exactly the student is having a problem. And the problems could be of two natures. One is the student might be facing a difficulty in their core learning aspect of it, right? The second is, and that is very important, which is usually not highlighted the way it should be, is the strategic skills. you know, giving examination is a different ball game altogether. You might be prepared, you might think that I've completed the entire syllabus and everything, but how you perform on the day of the examination is going to be, you know, very decisive. And there are different aspects to it. You need to have control over your time management. You need to, because these questions that you are going to attempt are also going to have a negative marking to it, so you have to, you know, stress upon your accuracy also. Your speed should be good, because these examinations are time dependent, right? You have, so the strategies that you have to, you know, form during the examination is also an important aspect of it. So basically in my task center, we give you daily and weekly tasks, and these tasks are completely personal for a student, depending on where exactly his problem is. So it might be possible that his task center has completely different set of tasks as compared to him, because he is going to have a different set of challenges that the second child is having. And based on all the challenges that the student is having, is the task center is populated. So that is how we take care of, you know, the way the progress should be, so that the student goes into the right direction. So we do the diagnostics, as well as we give the remedy of how exactly to overcome those challenges.
So I think this points to the core promise of the program, that learning has to be customized, which all of us want as teachers, but there is no way to do it unless you have rich data to customize it. So what Akash is suggesting is that you can actually customize learning at scale without loss of quality, if you have good data behind you. But if you want to customize learning, the default option is, oh, the student-teacher ratio should be less. Like in so-called more expensive schools, the ratio is 1:10, then it must be a great school because you get personalized attention. You can't achieve that for every school in the country. You cannot achieve that for JEE preparation or NEET preparation. But if you use technology, you can potentially customize learning pathways at scale without losing, you know, the quality. And if, for example, if 5 people have been identified with a certain specific problem, like Akash mentioned, that maybe he or she does not know integrations, and that's why he or she is struggling with a particular topic. Imagine one master class by a teacher who's just called all these 20 students only to teach that much, not more, not less. That's it. So you don't have to go through the whole lecture on probability to understand that. So when you use tech, you can go very targeted, and that's probably the goal of the task panel that he's talking about. I was just adding something. Akash.
Yeah. Any you know, we have basically opened the forum.
Please accept my congratulations on coming up with this novel idea. In NEP, as most of the educators are going to agree, we talk of formative assessments.
Correct.
So bringing it down to the JEE and NEET preparation is something which I'll say it is absolutely a novel idea. So please accept my congratulations.
Thank you.
So I have 2 questions.
Yes, please.
Number 1, since this, when that circle was shown, the process, it started with a test. When should the student know to go for this, first part? And what will be the school's role in this?
Okay. So, see this, the class 11th and 12th syllabus as we start, right? The build-up starts from class 7 itself, right? So, the build-up of these chapters that you are going to study in class 11th and 12th, that only starts from, you know, class 7th. And many a times, it is a problem that the student did not, or may somehow, you know, was not able to recollect the facts of he studied in class 7th, and that is basically creating a problem in his 11th preparation as well, and that is where the actual challenge is. So actual challenge is not in class 11th, it is in class 7th. So what we have designed, that the first time you come on the platform, you'll get a diagnostic test. We call it as a personalized preparation assessment. So it is irrespective of where exactly you are in your state of preparation, you have to give that personalized preparation assessment. And with that personalized preparation assessment, we exactly identify that where exactly the student is with respect to his understanding of the concepts, knowledge of the concepts, whether he have or where exactly the challenges are in his preparation journey. So from that, it's like a diagnostic test, if you take in medical terms, represent a sort of correlation with the diagnostic test. It is a full body diagnostic test that we say. So we give that test to the particular student, and we exactly identify that where exactly are problem areas. And then we basically start giving customized tasks to students based on the information that I have gathered from the diagnostic, or the platform has gathered from the diagnostic test that the platform is giving. So have I answered your question? Okay. It might be that I did not understand it.
My question
Yeah.
is still unanswered.
Yeah,
When we say that such a platform has been launched,
correct.
when should we tell the children, which grade we should be telling
Okay.
the children? Because, to be candid, there is an institute which starts catching children 8th standard onwards.
Yeah.
There,
Catching,
yes, catching.
yes.
I will say they are catching hold of
Yes,
them.
yes.
Then, by the time 11th comes, a child has already opted for the stream.
Yeah.
So, if it is with maths, science with maths, they are opting for engineering. Those who are going for, I mean, they'll at least give it a shot for once. Likewise, the bio students, they will be giving a shot at NEET also. So by that time, the path is decided. The parents have decided it, whether they have pushed their ward on to taking up the science and whatever be the reasons.
Correct.
Here, what I could understand from what was explained, it is initiative. I, for me, stands for initiative and inquisitiveness.
Yeah. It's the personalized thing, the individual
That is your version. For me, I guess the initiative, which is lacking in most of them, because the numbers don't tell whether they have the caliber or not. Let it be 20 lakhs, let it be 30 lakhs.
Yes.
Everybody who is sitting might not be having the caliber.
Absolutely.
So my question, what grade these children should be told that you see, if you are thinking of cracking JEE, this is the time, go for this test, see your strengths and weaknesses, and then decide whether you have it in you or not.
So, to answer your question, I won't be basically putting where exactly or which grade the student should. Yes. Yes, sir, please.
For now, we have designed the platform for this test for the students who are already aspiring to become engineers or doctors. So essentially, it will be for class 11 onwards, 11 and 12 and maybe 13. Those who are already they have already appeared for exam, they still do not know where do they figure out. So it is relevant for now, 11, 12 and 13. But we are also working on, maybe in a few months to come, 9, 10, 11, 12 and 13. Did I now answer the question? Yes. Thank you.
So preferably, as sir said, that we only are basically, right now with the current form of the platform, we are targeting the students who already have started preparing for JEE and NEET, or who are planning to prepare for JEE and NEET. So preferably, if he is in class 11, the student is in class 11, is the appropriate time to start preparing on the platform, because then he will have the daily progress and correct measures that the student might need to take to course correct any challenges that he or she is facing. Yes. Yeah. Yes. Yes, please.
Hello sir, I am Mishika Rai from St. Andrews,
Okay.
and I have a question that how is it different from other digital platforms?
Okay. So, like, if you see and go and see any other digital platforms, so mostly the effort and the focus is, as Amanji rightly said, is to bring the offline classes into an online mode, right? It is not, personalized for you. Where exactly are your challenges, are your problems, is something that should be highlighted to you, and the solution should be provided for that, right? The problem with the current system, as Amanji rightly said, that the technology is being used just as a facilitator to provide what was already provided in the offline and into an online mode. The data, the analytics, the exact problem areas, the corrective measures that you must have to, reach to your ultimate true potential should be personalized only to you, right? Whether anyone else is having a problem in certain sections, it might not be necessary that you also are having the same problem in that section. You might have a completely different problem altogether, or a completely different approach towards approaching a particular problem, right? So it should totally be personalized for you, and that is what our platform is basically giving you. It is, if you broadly classify it, so there are, as I said, three aspects. One is, we first diagnose that where exactly are your problem areas and where exactly are your challenges. Then we give you the correct method by which you can overcome those challenges. And the third and most important aspect of it is, we want to bring in that culture, you can say, that where you start putting effort on your own, right? Because as we said, that when you start giving it efforts on your own, then only you'll be able to gain more confidence, gain a proper insight that whether my preparation is going in right direction, ultimately, see, in an examination, this is something that I used to share with my students also, that in an examination, the amount of preparation is always going to be important. But the second aspect is how confident you are, right? Like, if you cover the entire 100% syllabus with, let's say, 60-70% of confidence, there might be a chance that then there is a high chance that you might get selected for this. Able to solve 18% of the questions, you will be selected. So you have to draw a line, right? Where exactly you want to stop, where exactly your dreams are.
Aman, just add.
Yeah.
And again, I'm trying to explain the larger idea of the platform around your question. And I want to start where Akash left, which is, I know of somebody who was preparing along with me in the same school that I went to, and he was actually the class 10th CBSE board topper that year. He was 100 in maths, 100 in science. It used to be a big deal that time. And he actually finished the whole IIT JEE syllabus by the time he was finishing class 11. He had probably solved, I don't know, thousands of questions, all possible brilliant tutorial files, Agarwal files, Apex files. He had solved everything. He knew probably solution to every problem that ever appeared in IIT. He didn't make it to IIT 3 times in a row. So what Akash is saying is very important. It's actually more strategy and understanding where you will get stumped that you have to protect. Where can you maximize and be better than everybody else? That is what is going to get you in. And now I'll give you a very specific example in comparison. When you want to compare this with other platforms, if you were to, let's say, go to any platform, they'll probably take a test and tell you, for example, they'll take a test in physics and tell you, you're good in these 5 topics, you're average in these 5 topics, you're bottom of the pile in these 3 topics. Done. Some good smart tests will also tell you that, let's say, in electricity, you're good in electrostatics, you're not so good in, let's say, capacitors, and so on and so forth. They'll probably give you that analysis also. But actually, what are you going to do with that analysis?
To be honest, you all know what you're good at. All of you know what you're not good at. What is the test going to really do for you? Actually, technology comes right after that. Like I was with my daughter 2 years ago, and she said, I asked her, what are you not comfortable in physics? So she said, I don't know how to solve capacitors when dielectrics are there in the middle. So I said, okay, let's see dielectrics. And then it turns out it's not dielectrics. I said, let's look at Coulomb's law. And it seems she was having problems with Coulomb's law, because of which she was getting stuck with dielectrics. Then when we went to the fundamentals of Coulomb's law, it turned out, like Akash mentioned, she did not know the derivation and the fundamental, let's say, derivation of Coulomb's law, which is where you start when you start getting into dielectrics problems. So she had challenges with actually using integrations in physics. Now imagine doing this for every student out there. Now you can tell this person, let's start with integration, then go to Coulomb's law, then we'll get to dielectrics, then we will get to capacitance, and then we'll get to electrostatics. Only tech can give this to you. Deep tech, analysis, deep insights. It'll ask you 2 questions. When you cannot solve it, it'll give you a 3rd question. You cannot solve it, it'll give you a 4th question. And it'll make some conclusions from that. Maybe you have issues here, not there. As a teacher, a good teacher will actually want to do this. But now put 5,000 teachers in front of a good teacher, how will he or she do it? But give the platform that intelligence, it can do it. So it's really the intelligence that drives and differentiates this platform from all others. Now, is it as intelligent as it can be on day 0? No. It will get there. And like Google search was not as good as, as it is today in comparison to 10 years ago, right? It becomes more intelligent as we go. Does that answer your question to some extent?
But sir,
Complicating.
I will not take more on that, because compared to every other platform that you have in the marketplace, it's kind of one size fits all. And this is personalized just for you as every single individual. You have your platform, your score, your mark, and your preparation journey tailor-made for you, whereas everybody else would kind of address everyone else in the classroom. That's the key difference.
sir, I have seen you in more using platforms which are personalized to my personal and life and people say that you are saying that if I had any doubt in a particular course, then I will just watch the recorded video of digital classes.
Sure. Now that recorded video could again be one size fits all. Now recorded video may also give you, maybe it might explain a particular topic to the extent you really think you want to know, but because the analytics, the deep analytics is not actually catching where exactly is your problem, which is making you feel uncomfortable in a particular problem, is not interlinked. So while it might apparently solve your problem, which is nothing wrong with it, but it normally may not solve your problem. And the moment you have a problem of may not, that's a risk. And where you're trying to compete with 20 lakhs people to get onto, the kind of choice of your seat or the college, you don't want to have situation of may not. You want to be 100% accurate about, is it really your problem that you're trying to solve, or is someone else's problem you're trying to solve?
That children go through a lot of assessment tests. I've seen it over 22 years as a principal, my experience.
Right.
And children are in lurch because there is no hand holding after that. So how are you going to do the hand holding with the children? I think that is very important.
So,
One thing, and I'll let you do the rest.
yeah.
So we definitely are looking at personalized tutorials, where we will invite, because the platform will actually guide us to actually go to those children who are not good or not so good about whatever they are not good at. And only those children will be invited for personalized tutorial only for that particular topic. So this is one area that we're trying to kind of get in, and we'll be able to solve only those problems that people don't understand for that particular group of people. Topic by topic. Absolutely, absolutely. Absolutely. There's one more thing that we're trying to address here, if I may say that. We want to empower the schools. They're the best place for the children to actually go and learn things from. You as teachers and educators have known the child for 14 odd years. Nobody else can know them better than you do. And they cannot be more comfortable with anyone else in the world to go and ask their questions and doubts. So again, it's up to them to decide whether they want to go back to their own teachers and say, here is my exact problem. Could you please give me 10 minutes or half an hour to solve this for me? If not, we are again available with personalized tutorials, which will come.
I feel that we are, I think the power of solid, good insights has not been experienced so far. Like I was sharing my own journey of preparing for IIT, and this was not just true for me, it was true for everybody who was there in the school, mostly everybody, I would say. I think just knowing where you are really struggling precisely is very powerful. It will tell you how to. Every student committed to IIT JEE preparation will figure out a way to learn that particular problem area, master that problem area. The question is, you just don't know exactly where you're struggling. When I say exactly, it does not mean struggling in modern physics. Everybody knows that. You don't have to do a test to figure that out. Knowing exactly what kind of problems, why you're not able to solve them, and getting to the heart of the problem. If it's integrations, then the next set of questions you should be doing is integrations, not Coulomb's law. First get the integrations, then come to Coulomb's law, and then go to capacitors. So I think just that precise guidance for a good student, I have a feeling it is already half the journey is probably kind of solved. But that's our bet. That's our bet. A good student always knows how to learn. Like she will go to a recorded lecture, but she needs to know which recorded lecture. Is it electrostatics? Is it capacitors? Is it Coulomb's law? Or is it integrations? The platform will give you that much, at least that much. And you can decide, you could go back to your coaching class, you could go back to any online free platform and master integrations, and then come back to capacitors. Okay. It's an enabler. We are not against coaching classes. We are not against schools and teachers. We want you to be more focused. There is no need to spend 6 hours after 6 hours of school. You can take that charge in your hands. You don't have to depend on an external party. Yeah.
So I'm Garv Arora from BGS International.
You're the head
School.
boy, man. Sorry. Okay. Okay.
So I just had this question, like, is this platform mainly meant for the purpose of diagnosing, like, where the student is lacking, or it will, like, help them solve further, like, providing further questions on that topic, or, covering that topic, like, providing teachers, as you said.
He's the right person.
So, as I said, there are two aspects to it. First, the diagnostic part, and then the corrective measures that you need to take. So, there are two aspects to it. One is, we obviously give you multiple, tests, assessments, and that are adaptive in nature. And the reason of having the platform made adaptive is because of the adaptive nature that we have inbuilt into the system is basically going to identify the problem areas that we are talking about. So once the first aspect of it is, obviously out of the diagnostic or analytics that you will be getting, you will be exactly knowing that where exactly the problem areas are inside the chapter also, down to the topic level. So there could be two ways of approaching how to solve it. One is, once you have already seen that I am weak in this particular topic, so you go and get the custom tests in the topics, right? Now, adaptive, the way adaptive works is, it gradually takes you to, many a times what happens is, let me give you an example. Like in an examination, you appear for an examination and the first 3 questions were difficult. You were not able to solve it. Yeah. Yes. So, so one is obviously the practice session that you personally, take yourself and take charge of it. The second aspect is the My Task Center. There is a My Task Center especially customized for you. And that task center is going to have specific tasks based on the challenges that you are facing in your preparation journey. So that is completely based on where exactly your problem areas are, where your problem areas are specific to the core learning skills, or where you lack, in the strategic skills, like the time management part you are facing difficulty in, like the accuracy is where you need to focus more on. So based on all these, shortcomings that you are facing, is your task center is populated through those tasks to overcome you or to help you overcome those challenges. Yeah. Yeah.
I think it does. Thank you very much.
Okay. Hi, good evening, everyone. I'm mother and principal to very distracted students, two biological children, and one dropped down to AIR 534, and he's in IT Delhi. But his journey has been like he was KVPY, NTSC, IJSO, and IAO scholar. And he was like 2019, it was the COVID outbreak at that time. And so from March to September, he was on his own. And at that time, he fell down to dark humor and everything. And so he dropped what all he had done in his coachings. So what all stereotype and straight strategies were there, like in JEE Advanced, there are 2 sessions, right? So in the first one, in his year, were all the questions which the coachings give you. So he flunked in that. And in the next session was all that permutations, combinations, and all these, which is very novel, where he scored the best. So this was his journey. Now I have another girl who is aspiring for NEET, and she always has 4 screens open whenever she's doing something. So she has that dance tute, she has Insta, she has one this Young Sheldon, and then she has whatever JE platform or whatever thing is there. So how do you give a parental control on this? And how can a parent know that where my child is it only to the student, or can a parent also be a co-author with the child, that where my child is standing straight right now, and where is his design, where he has to move? So is there a parent indulgence also in it? Thank you.
So for the 4 screens part, obviously that is something that the platform won't be able to control, because it is completely on the child's child's, habits and everything. But as far as involving the parents is concerned, uh, of all the activities the child has performed on the platform, there is always a repository to it. You can always go and check that what are all the activities my child has performed. Like how many tests have he given, how much time he has spent on the platform, how much has he scored, and everything. So there is always a repository of all the activities that the child is doing on the platform. So one thing is that. The second thing as a parent that you could do is, we have a section called planner, right? You can always, set plans for your kid for the entire week, right? So like these are the chapters that you need to cover in this particular week. You can always go and set that plan for the child. And then the entire week for the children is completely planned. So that is how we are basically giving the parental control to the student, because whatever the activity, see, ultimately what it happens is the kid, when he knows that there is way that all my activity can be tracked, so obviously that makes him little conscious and little more focused towards putting in efforts, right? So that is how we have developed the platform. We will also be integrating some more factors to give more parental control. But at the same time, we also know that these the kids who are preparing for these examinations, if you put too much of control over them, right? They also need to have that breathing space among themselves, around them, so that they should not feel always claustrophobic. So considering everything in mind, we have given the means and measures for each of the parent to track their kids' success and progress.
In the platform, which will give the students the flexibility of sharing their journey and their learning on a weekly basis, fortnightly basis, depending on how you want to track it. And they'll be able to email you or give you a PDF of the entire journey so far. At any point in time, you could also look at it yourself as parents or as teachers. So yeah, it has that flexibility built in it. But beyond that, we haven't considered, because for a simple reason that we want to sort of safely assume that those who are wanting to prepare for NEET and JEE are responsible enough to exercise their abilities and do what is required to be done, which is a safe device to assume, but we have to begin somewhere. Yes. And make them responsible from day one. If you give them more responsibility in the beginning, perhaps they become better citizens. So we do consider and respect that, because privacy is another factor that we also have to look into the young citizens. And giving their space right in the beginning to make them even empowered to take the right decision is a good place to begin.
Now, just sharing my own personal, journey. See, the response
Seriousness ultimately, gradually, develops in kids' life. So when I started preparing, I have already given you a background that I did not have much of, help in my class 11th and 12th. So in my 13th, I started preparing for this examination. And at my time of preparation, there used to be this All India test series conducted by different organizations. So one of the organizations I got myself enrolled into just to see that how exactly I'm doing in these, because see, I need to understand that where exactly I stand in the competition. So the first test of mathematics that I gave, I got a 0. And that too because there was no negative marking. The second test, again 0. And that again because there was no negative marking that time. Third test, again 0. So 3 times in a row, in 3 tests, I scored 0 in mathematics. But the 4th time when I gave the test, I got 15. And that was encouraging, because for the last 3 times, I have been getting 0, 0, 0. So I put in a little bit of effort, not much, to be very honest. Zyada effort nahi kiya tha, thoda padhai ki thi. So I got 15. And that made me think that पिछले time मैंने जब थोड़ी सी मेहनत करी तो I got 15. Then what if I'll put a little bit more effort? And from there my, journey started of improving day by day. And this is what the platform is also going to tell you, that every day
all the effort that you have been putting, right? If it shows you that you are going in the right direction, that will basically start building the motivation in the student, and that will let them understand that, yes, it is within my reach if I keep going this way. And if that confidence is there in the students, that is the most important, that is, better than any sort of motivational lecture that the student is going to sit in, or watch any motivational lecture. That is the most important motivation that the child is going to have, that he could actually see him progress each and every day. So that is how we.
Specific to your profile, a lot of you may have come from places your journey back. So we would like to exclude you. Is there any more?
So.
We're also looking for an opportunity to come over, share all of these things with you. Questions like large number of students, and maybe get into more of these questions. Just the beginning, the way we have taken to bring the platform and share with you what all it has.
Yeah. Yeah, so I now invite, yes, please, ma'am.
Aspirants who are actually very, very focused.
Yes.
Who are focused. But at times you would find that, we need to catch them young. One aspect is this. Before the others catch them, it's very important.
Yeah.
Because
Yes.
she was right, when she made a comment, because by the time the children come in class 11, it is too late for them, because they have already probably, gone into the trap of someone or the other. Right? This is one aspect of it.
And yes.
And another is that at times there are few children, I understand, that we have to make them responsible. They must understand about their own career, that's fine. But given the normal situation and the present circumstances, I feel that there are children who just a little push, from the parents' indulgence, or you can say, a little push from the parents' side,
Yeah.
motivation from their side can really, they can make it happen.
Absolutely.
So for that, it is very important. I believe there has to be something, because one of you only pointed out that there are three pillars, three stakeholders.
Yeah.
So you have the teachers, you have the students, and the most important is the parents.
Parents, yes.
So without parents' intervention and their, kind of guidance, I think it becomes a bit difficult.
Yes.
There has to be something, some platform where the parents can also contribute to. So that's what.
Absolutely.
We very much have that as part of our plans.
Yeah.
Yeah,
We even want to, with your blessings and your guidance and your indulgence, because we have a long way to go. We have just started the first baby step. It's a long, long way to go. I mean, the dream is to also have a platform which will be able to plan and keep the data that is generated by every single from every day that into the students. To the extent that we should be able to one day, and I'm not saying this will happen next year or a couple of years from now, we will try to do so, but maybe we do not even have to, we could do away from the way we are having classes right now. Right? I mean, we would like to see every single child actually knowing everything in maths, physics, chemistry, and not get branded as तुम्हें physics नहीं आता है, या तुम्हें maths नहीं आता है, तुम्हें maths पढ़ना ही नहीं है. And when does the child get to know about it? Maybe in class 5. Maybe the child has a different way of learning maths. Right. So we definitely are looking at building a platform together where the parents, the learner, and the teachers will be all on the same platform. So thank you for your input. It is very well taken.
And I wish very happy Children's Day to all of you. Children who are sitting over here, and the child in adults. We have to keep that child always alive. That's very important. So I would just the last this thing that खुद से लड़ने की जिद है मुझे, खुद से लड़ने की जिद है मुझे, खुद को खुद से ही हराना है, खुद को खुद से ही हराना है, मैं भीड़ नहीं हूँ दुनिया में, मेरे अंदर ही ज़माना है. So the children have to realize this, that there is something within them and that potential has to come out. Thank you.
Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
First, I'd like to congratulate for this beautiful platform, and I really hope that it kicks off really nicely. Just a very genuine and curious question, I'd say. The Q&I, what does the Q&I stands for?
Okay. So the way we started, naming this product, so we thought that what is the most important, sort of ring that every child will, associate themselves with is Q&A, question and answer. They have been, solving question and answer throughout their learning journey. But we did not want to restrict ourselves to just question and answers. We wanted this to be personalized to each and every student. And we have already elaborated a lot on how exactly the personalization works. And that is where we replaced, it's not the answers that you are looking for, it's the I in you that you are looking for. So Q&I for the I in you is how we rebranded or branded our platform. Yeah. Correct. So I hope I did not confuse anyone with the answers that I have given. Okay, so anything else? So I'll invite our sales head, Hardil Sher Singh. So Hardil Sher Singh is the head of sales at Q&I. He has worked extensively in education ecosystem, spanning business, development, operations, strategic planning, sales and marketing. So he has been computer science and technology and an MBA in marketing and systems. So he'll be basically delivering the vote of thanks and closing remarks.
Thank you, Akash. Good evening, everyone, and happy Children's Day to everyone out here. Of course, as ma'am mentioned, that children in us also. So we thank all of our esteemed guests, the school leaders, parents, and the students for joining us today on this momentous occasion. And we have been extremely privileged to have many of you guiding us. Like, of course, few of you are already been associated with us in various forums and during the building phase of Q&I platform. As we start this journey for Q&I, we look forward to your continued support and guidance. We are also grateful to the promoters of India Today Group who have been guiding us in this endeavor. We have now reached the end of our program for today, and I request everyone to now join us for the dinner, which has been served outside the hall. Yeah. Thank you so much once again. And before moving out for the dinner, so I would request everybody to hand over the feedback forms which we have circulated earlier, and my team has already been collecting it. So thank you so much for joining us once again.